No,
You did tell me you'd yell at me if I
I did.
did that too fast.
Nikki wouldn't yet.
Okay.
Or would you?
10 o'clock, so we officially call this meeting to order for March 11th, Seneca County Board of Commissioners. Join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoll?
Here.
Commissioner White?
I'm here.
I'll accept a motion to the signing of the journal and to approve the DVD recording of the previous board session from Tuesday, March 4th, and the written index of that meeting.
I'll make that motion to approve that as outlined.
I will second.
Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda anybody would like to add so we know where we're headed?
EMS meetings?
EMS meetings under old business? Yep.
I just had a question regarding tomorrow's luncheon, if anybody heard that still on or not on it. The DD luncheon.
Oh.
Opportunity Center.
Oh, I'm in leadership tomorrow, so I didn't RSVP to it, but
Okay.
I don't know otherwise.
You haven't
I
heard
guess.
otherwise? Okay, I assume it's still on then.
I thought I'd add under new business the Joint Justice Center study, just to make brief comments on that.
Okay.
Since I missed that.
I've got a ton of them. I have to apologize, Holly. I don't quite understand how we,
I just like to list what we're gonna talk under
Yeah.
new or old business, in case somebody's only staying for a portion of the meeting, they don't.
yeah.
Dodge
I
out,
got
wish they
about
stayed.
6, 7 points here of various.
Old stuff probably?
No, it's actually all new things.
Well, what the heck? Okay, Fred's exciting new list will be under new business, so don't leave early, you don't know what you'll miss. There we go, that takes care of that.
Stay tuned.
Under old business, Board of Elections is listed here. I missed some discussion in my recent travels, but that was on here. so-
Okay, yeah, I was approached 2 weeks ago by Jim Fruth and the board election members, and they said, what's going on with that? And I said, Commissioner Stacy was out, and maybe we need, and what I suggested is that we ask the Board of Election members to come back again. In addition, if we could have somebody from the state, that when they say that we're not compliant, I'd like to find out what we need to do to be compliant. Now, I know that, Commissioner Stacy, you've done some research on JFS out there. Quite frankly, I'm against moving from downtown unless that is the only alternative we have. I hear the reason we would move because we're not compliant. Okay, I hear that. What do we need to do to be compliant? What's the cost related to be compliant? You looked at the option, and rightfully so, is JFS, that is one option.
Right.
The other
That's
option
all it
is,
was.
what do we need to do to be compliant? So, they approached me, they said, well, what's going on with this thing? And I said, well, I know that you've done some research on it. So I said, why don't we reconvene back in? But I'd like to have somebody from the state that can sit there, tell us what we need to do to make that compliant, and then we can decide, well, the cost is prohibitive.
Did they
It just
indicate,
doesn't make any sense.
did they indicate when they talked to you that they were still interested in looking at it, or did they change their mind?
Oh,
Because-
no, they're very interested.
Okay,
That's why they
'cause-
approached me and said,
'cause
what's
Chairman
going on
Knight-
here?
Can Chairman Knight asked me about it somewhere that, I don't know, it was the week before, the last week of the month there, around the 19th, that he asked me where things were. He goes, well, we're now ready, because we kind of been just waiting to hear back from them. I just provided them with information. Here's what's out there if you want to look at that, and here are the things we need to talk about if this is of interest to see, then jointly together, because they have never been in here to talk to us. We joined them for one of their meetings when they first brought it up, and it was the access, the ADA issues, the area for voting because of the regulations of the early voting. Security, those were their main issues, and I brought that stuff here, but I didn't look at it too much, so I provided them with this sheet, kind of their existing space, potential space, space differences in that, and then my list of questions of things that we would need to jointly, if they wanted to continue to pursue looking at that. And at that time, he said, We'll get back with you, and I told them I was gonna be gone, but if they wanted to list their questions or come see us, then we continue talking about it. So, yeah, we can do that, and I hadn't heard, again, I've been gone,
Yeah,
but I
and
hadn't heard
again,
back from
this
them.
was just 2 weeks ago, and they're asking me, what's going on? They're very interested in the JFS thing, and I just said, I gotta, tell you right up front, I'm not for it unless to become compliant with state law, that cost is so prohibitive, then I may lean towards it, but if not, if there's any way we can make that downtown facility work, I'm more receptive to that. I'm just
Again,
coming right up
and
front.
we also had said, when we looked at that, we didn't wanna have to do major
Yeah, right,
remodeling or
right,
anything
right.
of
Yeah.
the space out at, the other building, if they wanted to go out there. And that was, I guess, one reason for an option was, I thought it'd potentially address some of those issues, as well as didn't cost us remodeling money to remodel the space up here, but we
The
can
ball
look at
is
that.
really in their court now.
It has.
It's in their court.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
their court. So do we want to ask them to come into a work session? Or if they want us to, either way, ask them if
Okay.
they want to come here, or if they want us to come to one of their meetings. I don't know how often they meet.
Okay.
If they want to get things addressed, to know
I
where they
firmly
wanna go.
believe that the ball's in their court. If they're interested, they need to come to us now.
Okay.
Instead of us searching out for them.
Yeah, and that's where I left it with Chairman Knight. I said, if you want to fire the questions before I'm back, otherwise I'm back on this date. But if you want to fire questions over, then, get ready, we'll answer those questions, or we'll set up a time to meet, so.
My impression months ago was that this board authorized you to go ahead and get that all lined up out there and basically make that offer to them. And you gave it to them, I don't know, 2 months ago, I'll bet. We really haven't heard an
More.
official, yeah, we
September.
want it or no, we don't want it.
September 4th of 13.
September 4th or 13th, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And we've not heard an official, yeah, we
Yeah.
want it or no, we don't want it. I think we kind of made the offer on that space.
Yeah.
The way we.
Yeah,
presented it,
without knowing
any
what questions,
remodeling,
yeah.
no major remodeling.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with them out there myself, but as long as it doesn't cost us any major remodeling.
again, that's the only reason we wanted to do it, was I didn't want it
And
to
then
put
we,
more money, invest money back in the space here if it wasn't gonna be nothing more than a Band-Aid fix.
and then market this for retail uptown
Right,
was kind
retail.
of what we had talked about, but if they wanna come back in and hash it over again, that's fine with me. I'd like to hear
Yeah.
what they have to say after they looked at that space. You showed it to them, right?
Yes,
You
I
and Dean went out
did.
and showed it to them.
I went with the chairman out, and then he coordinated the day they were in session, the election day, because they have to remain in session. And I think he coordinated with our maintenance staff, and they went back out with all of their board members and walked through it. And they did warn him, a few weeks ago, we talked that right now it's being occupied temporarily
Yeah.
Right,
while the repairs are being made in the other offices. So I guess we can do touch base with them and find out if they wanna.
Okay.
I'm just following up with what they inquired with me, and
Yeah.
matter of fact, Jim Fruth and I corresponded over the weekend. He didn't get my email, and I resent it to him again, and I haven't heard a response yesterday, because I said, get back with us and let us know what you wanna do.
I do agree, they ought to come to our meeting now. We went
Yeah.
to theirs the last time, let them come.
Yeah, we'll invite them to ours. That will take care of that. All right, thanks. EMS meeting, is you just talking about the April 5th or other ones? that you wanted?
I got a couple coming up next week. I just wanted to see who would be able to attend those.
I'll take Reed Township on Tuesday,
On
whatever
Tuesday
date
at
that
7,
is.
okay?
Is that,
The
that's not
18th.
the 18th? okay.
Yep. And then we have one on Monday, the 17th at 8 PM, and that's Liberty.
I could do that one. I meant to tell you that yesterday, and I
Okay.
forgot.
You said it was the 18th?
Yep.
At what time?
7.
So,
I've been to the last three, one last night, last Wednesday, and one Monday, a
All went
week
well?
ago. Yeah, and all went well, and, the hope is that we get a good turnout at our meeting on the 5th, and everybody's got their thinking caps on, and we can come up with creative ways to, if it's the basket model, I'm not partial to one or the other, but it's obvious that we have to do something, and everyone get their thinking caps on, and I think, I do strongly recommend that we have, on our work session, I think you and I talked about it, April 1st, that we invite
Yeah,
Ken
the last
in,
work session before the big
Yeah.
public meeting, or
and,
special meeting, whatever it is called.
we go through the agenda of the meeting. I think that's gotta be done in open session, and I'm fine with that. So that we're all on the same page, so we have our meeting on on the Saturday morning out to the Civil Defense Building that were all there. I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity, but I've asked the auditor to put together a scenario. Because again, every time you look at different options, everyone's, well, what's gonna cost me? You know, options are options, but cost is, it's gotta be the option and the cost related to it. And the auditors put together some scenarios, and they're kind of ballpark scenarios, but what's the cost?
Yeah.
You know, if they.
And he has incorporated that.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
see that, so I'm fine with, that was my only suggestion when he come up with the PowerPoint, is I thought we needed to incorporate the cost into it, and he has, and I'm fine as how the thing is laid out, but I just think we need to get together on that work session on the Monday or the Tuesday prior and just make sure we're all on the same page. Something's gotta be done. We
Right.
can't just sit there and just continue to kick that can down the road. Something's gotta be done.
Right. Nope.
So that's,
That's good.
Yep, we'll put that on the
as long as
schedule.
we're all in agreement with that.
Yeah, and the notifications have gone out for that meeting, and obviously we'll continue to remind people. We have the engineers quarterly township association meeting that the engineer host is next week. Yeah,
20.
next week, so that'll give us another chance, again, not to do any presenting at that, but to friendly reminder about the meeting in case they didn't see the notice, because they meet twice a month. Depending on their schedules and if they've met since that invite's been in their hands or not, so that'd be a good reminder to that.
Yeah, I won't be there for the engineers meeting the next one.
All right, anything else for old business? Okay, we'll move to new business. Let's do it. We've got listed for our resolutions first.
Okay. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Maintenance and Repair Fund 020, moving $7,886.96 from the transfers out in the 183 account to the M&R fund. We have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the Seneca County Road 38-9.32 Bridge Replacement Fund 183, putting $7,886.96 into the Bridge Replacement Fund. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Workforce Investment Act Fund 066, putting $3,000 into advertisement, $600 into other expense, total of $3,600. A resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the Community Housing Improvement Program, FY13 Grant Fund 140, moving $4,500 from WSOS Administration to other expense. Resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the Seneca County Sewer District Fund 139. This is moving $10,000 from contract services to other expense. We have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, request of the sheriff, moving $2,000 from supplies to other expense. We have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Seneca County Sewer District 139, putting $8,000 into contract services, $2,000 into other expense, for a total of $10,000. We have a resolution authorizing the purchase of 4 Power Pro XT cots on behalf of the Seneca County EMS, authorizing Stacy Wilson to sign all necessary documentations. We have gotten the workers' comp grant. We have received their portion of that, $40,000, so he wants to get those ordered. We were approved and we already have the money.
Oh, that's fast.
Yes. I have a resolution, approval of extension for the CDBG FY12 Small Cities Formula Program Community Development Block Grant. Let's see, the grant agreement was September 1st, 2012. It has been extended to June 30th, 2014, with a payment request deadline of July 31st, 2014.
That's so we can do the testing on the HVAC before
Yes.
the grant runs out.
Yep. I have a resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 2014 Dodge Chargers through the Ohio Department of Administrative Services Cooperative Purchasing Program from the local vendor in lieu of bidding on behalf of the Seneca County Sheriff. And that's all I have.
I I move that we, move we approve the resolutions.
Seconded.
Okay, motion approved and second for accepting the resolutions. I just, one quick question, and they're here, and I didn't grab the paperwork, but that was kind of Road 38, not 39. 'cause-
Oh, did I say 39?
No, it says 39 in one place and it says 38 in the other, and I just,
It's
as long as
38.
as long as the
38?
resolution is correct, okay. That's how you read it, as
Oh, okay.
38, so I'm assuming that's. All right, any other questions?
I have a question,
Yep.
the Dodge Chargers, we're going through state purchasing, sometimes the local dealer can beat that state purchasing by a?
We're going with a local dealer.
Okay, good,
Yep.
good, good,
Yep,
good.
that's what they did.
All right. I'm glad we can do a couple cars again this year, trying to keep the fleet up, and I think that's
And I think
important that we do that.
the prices are even under what we budgeted for it, so
Good.
that's good.
How many cars does he have in his fleet out there this year?
Jeez.
And what do we figure, the rotation, 1 a year, 2 a year? I mean,
It's been kind of hit, skip, 2 a year, I think is what the sheriff likes to do, is 2 a year and rotate them that way, but it's been kind of hit, skip, depending on the budget. Last year, we got 2 last year, or did we skip?
Year before. Last year we did the van.
Last year we did the van.
Yep, and then the year before we
prisoner
did the
van.
two Chargers, so we're back on for 2 this year.
I don't know why Ford quit making the police cruisers, they had kind
Yeah.
of the corner of the market on it, but now we're going to Chargers, which.
if you notice, I mean, look at state patrols, all seem to be
Yep.
Chrysler products right now.
Yeah.
You don't look at those close to.
Not from the inside.
From the inside.
Just checking. Oh, no. We have a motion and a second, we've had discussion, roll call please.
Commissioner Whitehead?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes. Resolutions is read, approved, thank you. It is 10:17, a couple minutes behind, but Mr. Paul with AEP
Yes,
for the yearly application stuff, come on up.
yes, where do you want me?
Wherever you want to be, you want to sit, you want to stand, whatever.
Happy to stand, I've been sitting all morning.
Okay, that's good.
I'm here representing Black Swamp Conservancy, I'm the land protection specialist. I've been with the organization since August of last year. Rob Crane, who I believe you've worked with before, got kicked up the ladder, he's the executive director now. So they brought me in to fill his shoes. I'm here to bring a resolution authorizing participation of 5 farms in the local agricultural easement purchase program, which again, we've done a fair amount of work in this area before. I don't know how much detail you'd like me to go into. Essentially what we're doing is purchasing agricultural easements on farms that, to ensure that they remain in farm use for perpetuity. It's a voluntary process. We are working with the Ohio Department of Agriculture for this program, but we are not a government entity. We're a private nonprofit. We've had a lot of success working in Seneca County. We brought a lot of money into the area. We preserved some really important farms, and we'd like to continue doing that. But at this point in the application process, we need authorization from the Board of Commissioners. So that's why I'm here. We're working with the Bakers, Ronald and Beverly Baker, Gregory and Denise Stoll, David Lucius, John and Diana Ewald, and Sea Farms I LLC this year.
Are most of those in Pleasant Township or Liberty or?
We've got
I
a,
recognize, but
there are a couple, they're distributed. I don't have a list of which ones are where in front of me. I know we have some in Liberty, we have some in Pleasant. There's,
Those would be Hopewell, I think.
yeah, I believe that's right. So I think there's 3 townships we're working in this year. So it is a competitive process. We've had really good success. Black Swamp Conservancy has had more success in this program than any other organization in the state. And we have this, it's a competitive process, so we're not guaranteeing that all of these farms will be funded, but we have done a screening process and we have a reasonable, we feel they have a good chance of success.
the, unrelated to just accepting that, but overall, and I know they covered this at the Erie Basin meetings I've been at, but I missed the December meeting.
Sure.
There's one this Friday, I think. Has the federal funding been turned into bag anymore, or is it?
We're still kind of waiting to figure out what's happened with the new farm bill. They lumped FRPP and together with a couple other programs, and it's ASIP, I think, Agricultural Conservation Easement Program, CRP and WRP are all lumped in together now. They have trimmed back the funding a little bit. I don't know to what extent. We're still kind of waiting for word from USDA
Yeah,
as to what exactly has happened.
okay, just curious.
You might note this is a state program, no county funds involved, but they need our okay to go ahead with the applications.
Yeah, we want to make sure we're not working in conflict with what the
Right.
county's trying to do.
And you can correct me where I go astray, but just a brief, for those who don't understand, I mean, it is to allow these farms to be preserved and they cannot be used for economic development or sold without the easement would go with it, correct?
Correct.
And so therefore, and again, it comes through us so that we wouldn't tie up a economic development, something, if we, in our long-range plan, if we had this area designated we wanted to see happen, we wouldn't want to put a farm in here because that would prevent that from happening, and obviously that's not gonna be the case with any of these, but,
Yes, that's exactly why I'm here. So.
all right. We don't have it prepared, or we do?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
I have a resolution to acknowledge the agricultural easements for 2014. As you mentioned, it was Ronald and Beverly Baker, George and Denise Stahl, David Lucius, Jonathan and Diane Ewald, and Sea Farms LLC. And this is to show that there is no existing or proposed land use plans for Seneca County. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said George, it's Greg.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, thank you.
Okay.
You're keeping track of me.
all right, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the resolution for the program. Any questions? You have those. All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. Approved.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
thanks for coming to the meeting.
Absolutely.
Can we take a peek at those? Is that allowed?
This is the same text as that.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought it had the individual farms listed there.
No, it just has the parcels. It's
Okay.
exactly what's on there. I just printed it out so I'd have a reference.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll email you a copy once that's all signed and everything.
Okay, that'll be great. Thanks.
We'll go back to new business, if there are other things that I know. I listened to Joint Justice Center, and Fred has said he has a number of things. I just wanted to comment, I've had a chance to review the report. I was unable to be at the meeting last week. A lot of hard work was put into that. It's pretty thorough. Exciting to see where we're at, where we've gotten to that point, and anticipate as we dig into details, and I'm sure we'll probably eventually have some joint meetings and whatnot to see where we can keep this thing moving. But, the study's complete and it's all good information. I just wanted to put that out there, so. Anyone else?
What I'd like to do is again, not to really get detailed with the Justice Center, but to kind of discuss at a high level what the agenda may be. And as I see it, I think the commissioners need at least another week or maybe another couple weeks to thoroughly investigate the program, and I'm fully on board with that. But as I see it, is that after each of us have done our investigation, then we would sit down as this group and say, not that we're approving the courthouse, but we're wrong, that we would say that we approve the study, the thought on the study. And then equally, I would hope that city council would be doing the same thing. And again, I'm trying to set out an agenda the way I see it should move forward. If you feel differently, let me know.
Yeah.
If we agree to the study and the city council agrees to the study, then the next step in my mind would be that we need to discuss jointly the financial part of the study. How are we gonna pay for this and so forth? And then at that point, if we're ready to, if we wanna go further, still doesn't mean we're gonna build a justice center yet. The next step would be, in my mind, that we would set a committee up, combination city, county, elected officials and people that, the judges and so forth, to then work with the architect. Still, we have not made any final decision here yet, but at some point, once we get the architect, we would have to appropriate some sort of funds. And if you feel differently, I'm fine, but I think to set up a roadmap is important that we just at least discuss that so we're all on the same page as the roadmap going forward. Okay, then as I said, would be an architect and all these different groups to then hammer that out, come up with a cost, and then we make a decision, do we jump off the ledge, do we do it or not? And not until that. I think these steps all have to take place. Now, you guys may feel, maybe there's other steps you want to put in there, but I think it's important that we all understand a framework to move forward.
I envision something similar, I guess, maybe not exactly like that. I'd like another week to kind of study it. I met with 2 judges this morning, meet with more this afternoon, and some other folks, and put together some thoughts on it. And then I envision some sort of a joint meeting. Either we go to city council meeting, which we did when we first talked about the study. The 3 of us went to city council meeting, the past board, or they could come here, but it's probably a little easier for us to go there and kind of hash out timetables a little bit. You know, if we're gonna do it, what timetable are we looking at? How serious are we? And then kind of go from there. After we meet the big group, we'll have some direction, I would think. I think the timetable will probably be the biggest area of contention in my mind, but that's what I was envisioning. Another week or 2, we all kind of make comments as a group here together. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Do we want to move forward or not move forward? Then we meet with city council and hammer it out with them a little bit, and then see where it goes. Do we contact architects? Do we sit back for a couple of years? You know, what do we?
Well, that will be determined by the, by the group as to how fast we move or slow or so forth there. But at some point or another, we got to talk about financing.
Absolutely.
And how we're going to take care of it. And I think that needs to be, that needs to be one of the second or third steps.
Yeah.
Because we could say yes, 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 and we get to the financing, then all of a sudden we say, whoa, we don't agree to this. We can't afford this, they can't afford this, however the situation is. And then that's going to just stop it. We're not going to move forward with that. So
Just like everything else, the money's the...
absolutely. So that's why I put that kind of as the second step. First, after we decide as commissioners, ooh, okay, we like the study, we've got input from all the people, and say, okay, we want to go forward with it. Then we have to discuss, and not that there hasn't been any, there has been a lot of discussions on putting the study together, and I'll be glad to share that with you. Doesn't mean that that's exactly what we're going to do, but we, as the study was being conducted, we always kept money in the forefront as how we're going to pay for it, what can we afford, what can we not afford. So, but now we can now start discussing that more in an open matter. And then if we agree in principle there, and then we would then bring the 2 entities together. Again, that's just my thought process of the outline. And we don't make a final decision until we get up to the actual cost. Keep in mind, the costs are only preliminary, and I mean, there's a lot of design work. At some point, we'll have to make some contractual things with an architect, even before I call it jumping off the ledge or making that final decision. We'll have to get half pregnant. Don't put that in paper. But you understand where I'm coming from.
I'll have some thoughts in a week or 2 for myself. And
way too early now, and for Commissioner Stacy, you know me.
I'm still digesting that one. Wow, okay. Yeah. Yes, so I think Judge Kelbley said this morning, the devil's in the details, so there we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what else do you have?
A couple other things. I was on county business, was at the sheriff's office last week, so I'll make that known. And I noticed, it's looking pretty ratty out there. The building and so forth, and just so happens that Commissioner Wagner and I were driving over to an OSS meeting in Fremont last week, and I happened to get a call from a local contractor telling me the same thing. He said, Fred, you need to do something out there. And I did some investigating since then. Every 5, 6, 7 years, when you got concrete block, you should seal it. and that kind of keeps it from deteriorating and so forth. So I did some further investigation of it, and it's something, and this is why I want to throw this out, food for thought. The building needs pressure washed on the outside, and it needs sealed. And the thought process is it's not a real complex project. Maybe our prisoners could do it. I'd have to talk with the sheriff to see if he'd be interested. And certainly we had to wait till the spring or summer and so forth. But pressure wash the whole outside of the building, and you take this sealer and you seal the concrete blocks, which helps preserve it. And it's not a real elaborate thing, but sealer's kind of expensive. I'm just throwing out maybe a $5,000 to $10,000 price tag for the whole thing, but it's a way of preserving the facility, and I think it's something we need to investigate. And again, my thought, if you guys are acceptable with it, check with the sheriff, because it's something that the prisoners can do out there. I know he's got a lot of other activities, a lot of things they could do, but you're right at the sheriff's department, can they help maintain it? But it is pretty ratty. I mean, it just looks kind of dingy.
And maybe sometime we can sit with maintenance, I'm sure, don't they have probably, listing of the buildings and things that because we talked about the RTA, we needed to get that cleaned up too.
Yeah.
But do they do them every so many years, that kind of a thing?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
something then, therefore some of it's probably budgeted.
Yeah, we've got a few of the buildings budgeted.
Okay.
That wasn't one of them, but that's,
Oh, okay.
wasn't
Yeah.
noticed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have no idea what the cost is. I mean, if we could do it, the labor part, the prisoners, the sealer is a little costly, but, I mean, it's not real elaborate.
You gotta take care of them.
I was listening to Lenny when he was talking to Lenny, we have to be on the car
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
And, I think we need to do something. If the prisoners could do it, I think that would be ideal. I don't know if they can or not, but if they could do it, that'd be ideal. I think second, if they couldn't, I think Mr. Grimes could do that for us. The sheriff specifically mentioned Grimes Painting, that he's done work out there before, and might be able to do something. But I think we ought to investigate the prisoners
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me get with the
They can do
sheriff.
it.
They work release
And,
program.
and then get how much square footage we talking about, and then I'll inquire how much the cost to cover that square footage, and then what kind of equipment needs to
What
be
product,
rented. And,
yeah,
Pardon?
what product they use.
well, yeah, I can get that very easily through a contractor.
Okay.
But I think it's just a way of maintaining our buildings. It's something that we could do, and it may not be that.
That might even be paint rather than sealer. They might put a new coat of paint on the outside of that. That's like a two-tone, isn't it? Is that a two-tone paint on the outside of that?
I can't picture right
I
now.
can't-
I'm having trouble picturing it too. I'm thinking it's light on top and bottom and darker in the middle, but I'm not.
Well, it's
100%
two-tone. Well, I guess it could be two-tone black. I don't know. 'Cause we-
I might be thinking of my bedroom. I'm not sure.
I ain't going there, Jeff.
Yeah.
There's another one
Going
going
down,
to.
Literally,
going
right,
down real
Fred?
fast here. Okay. So we'll move off of the sheriff's department too.
Yeah. As we are getting cost on the judges and everybody in the annex ask us to get, to look at doing some major spring cleaning there. It's been 10+ years since we built the facility, and the first cost to come in wasn't good at all.
I go to the cleaning business for that.
I'm quitting this and I'll do that. So, but we're looking at different options, and so I guess the one I'm having the most problem with, what we're talking about is carpet cleaning, cleaning the drapes, doing that, and then kind of work like you would do spring house cleaning in your house, washing the walls down, things of that. And this one, hopefully it gets in the paper. You know, we can get people that will clean the carpet and do the drapes, but to do the other things of cleaning the walls down and so forth, I'm having a tough time really trying to find the right people to do that kind of things. Because it's all 3 floors, it's not something you can, So I'm open for suggestions but I thought if we could contract with one, and we got a couple people coming in.
And we had two companies come in yesterday, and I think we have 1 or 2 today.
Yeah, I think the one that does it will do everything. So we'll look at the cost. I have no idea. If it's anything near what that first cost is, we might as well build a building, tear it down and build a building. That's not even feasible. $80,000. I mean, it's crazy, just to clean the darn place. One other thing, and Jeff, you were on the call when Lenny called, and we have some water leaking in the RTA building that's creating some problems, and we may have more of a severe problem than what we realize. There's some beams or something that are rusting, because whenever you get water on the inside of the building, it's not good. And Lenny's gonna get a structural engineer. I don't really know where to go at here, and other than go with someone that's reputable and someone we can trust. I guess there's 11 of these throughout the building, and there's no way he can give us a cost. It's just, that's how much is involved. So once he gets a structural engineer, and he's gonna come back to us sometime in 1st of April, and he said he may do one of them and do it time and material, so we can get an idea, a rough idea of what this thing is gonna cost us, but it's something that we need to, there's potential safety issues down the road if we don't do something on it. And I'm in an area that I don't know anything about, but I'd have to trust contractors, and Lenny's is a legitimate contractor. And he said what I would do, one is time and material, so we would have to take somewhat of a leap of faith, and I don't like to do anything time and material, but also I understand.
So you get in there, you're
Yeah,
not
until
quite
you
sure.
get in there, there's no way in heck I would put a bid on something, until I knew what I was getting into. Again, he said there's 11 of them. If he did one, it'd give him an idea, and then we can determine from there. But let him come back. I'm just making the board aware that he's gonna be coming back, and we do have some issues with water infiltrating the building, and the RTA building. That's,
And this is an inherited problem. This was a design and
He said it was the dumbest design ever, I think, was
Yeah.
the way those flower pots just suck
drained
the
in,
water in,
and, yep. This is an inherited problem.
So we'll see, like I say, let him come, and like Fred said, let him come and
make a presentation.
make a
But we
presentation.
do have some potential liabilities there to maintain the building. Lastly, and probably, I don't know if I can do this or not, but I thought the Boy Scouts did such a great job for us at the, helping us out in the cemetery. They've got a fundraiser that they're trying to gather enough money to take a trip out to Wyoming, and they're making submarine sandwiches, and what date they making those on. But you can call 419-448-1761 and order your sub sandwiches. They're making them here in sometime in the end of March, and they'll deliver them to you for $6 a piece.
Well, they deliver them, you don't have to go pick them up?
Nope, they will deliver them for $6 a piece. 448-1761, and they are using this, okay, they're gonna deliver them on March 22nd. 12-inch subs. 448-1761, that's my little
We
advertisement
could
for
pin
them.
that up on our bulletin board if you want.
Yeah, and that's, and maybe we would put this at the different county facilities. They'll make them up, and they're gonna use it to generate money so they can go on this trip out to Mount Rushmore.
We could email it to all our
Yeah,
offices.
yeah. I thought they did such a nice job and for helping us out that we could put a little plug in for them. I'll shut up now.
Does anybody else have anything else for the good of the order?
I don't.
I'll just mention, I just had called over to confirm a confusion on the date for the Park District's annual volunteer recognition dinner and silent auction. And she said, it's funny that you called, because not only we're about correcting that, we are postponing it till next week because of the anticipated reminder of winter that's coming our way, I guess. So it's going to be Wednesday, March 19th, same place, time, and all that stuff. So if anybody was planning on that,
Yeah.
you're soon going to have some details that it's being moved to next week.
Still at 5:30 though.
Still at 5:30, with registration, et cetera, dinner at 6:30.
Where's that being held though?
That is at Somerset Reception Hall on Huron Street.
Did you stutter?
How do you say it, Somerset? No, I wasn't sure I was pronouncing it right. Is it summer or summer? It's spelled like summer, but Somerset, is that how you say it?
Thanks for bringing that up.
Anyway, that's where it's at.
Good, okay.
382 South Karen
So the 19th.
on the 19th,
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
Yes, so I told her I'd make that announcement because there's probably some here going.
Yep.
And if anybody wasn't planning to go and you want to, give them a call. Okay, take a motion to adjourn.
Public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, public comment. Sorry, didn't mean to skip that. Any public comment? Questions?
Delmer, you gotta say something, you kidding.
I do gotta say something. I'm glad you said it. You said something about them guys going to Wyoming and Mount Rushmore. They move it?
Do they what?
Mount Rushmore? Last time it was-
I'm looking at it, let me see, they're traveling to Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower, and then to Cody, Wyoming. I'm sorry, I didn't read it.
Okay. I thought maybe they moved Mount Rushmore. I wasn't too sure of it.
I move we adjourn.
Hey, Michael, that's
Second.
for the old guy.
Well, I don't know if you
Second.
want me to do like 3 minutes. worth.
Sure,
So,
sure.
it was exciting, and thanks to the AT and many other papers, we're talking about the fact that Seneca County placed in the top 10 in the country for economic development last year. I think that's quite an accomplishment, and we got play throughout the region, which is great. It's letting companies throughout the region know that this is a wonderful area. So I think that was significant. We sent out to over 100 media outlets, and so that was, the traction we got was phenomenal. We're still finalizing our annual meeting details and hope to have that finalized today. If not, we may be doing a Seneca County Parks District and maybe moving the potential date, which is April 4th. The other thing I would say is that we've begun our monthly newsletter. We're up to 230, 250 subscribers just to our monthly newsletter. So we're beginning to get partners and stakeholders involved with kind of what's going on. Number of projects, our project pipeline is really, really full. Doing a lot of real estate work, so beginning to go out there and work with property owners who don't know how high their ceilings are and don't know if they have three-phase, and so that we're adding a lot of value there to help people throughout the entire area begin to be able to connect them with companies and individuals looking to create jobs in our county. And so other than that, things are going really, really well. So appreciate the county's support as always.
You're thinking April 4th might be the annual meeting?
Might be. It will be decided today. If I don't we've gone to Plan B on our speaker. If the Plan B doesn't materialize today, probably moving it post-Easter likely, but I'll let you all know. I just want to, since we're here, I'll give that heads up.
Sure.
It's getting really tight, so.
April 4th. All right, anything else for public comment? If not,
I move we adjourn.
Second it.
move in second that we adjourn. We'll stand adjourned, thank you.